As I stated in my previous video, China is the biggest threat in the entire world, in my personal belief. In my previous video, I talked about their subatomic weapon development, which is, a million times more powerful than thermonuclear bombs. And I mean, besides that, China and its development of classified neuro weapons, its development of classified hypersonic missiles and drone technology and surveillance software and surveillance hardware. China and its massive army of satellites up in space, its huge spy program where it has like millions and millions of spies around the world, especially in the United States. China has a very super long history of very extreme corruption, very extreme immoral behavior. And let's not forget the Uyghurs and concentration camps. Let's not forget the flooding of huge farmlands and many villages, in order to save their major cities or to save certain dams. Let's not forget the Chinese government's treatment towards the people of Tiananmen Square. Let's not forget about China's behaviors in the Taiwanese Ocean, which is not the Chinese Ocean, that which is around Taiwan. Taiwan is its own independent country, in its own independent state, completely separate from China. Let's not forget what China did to Hong Kong. Let's not forget about their defiling and their betrayal of that treatment they signed that wasn't to expire for quite some time. Let's not forget about Chinese black sites and their torture and murder of dissidents, of people standing up against the government. Let's not forget about the extreme poverty in China that still exists. Let's not forget about the slave labor, not just of Uyghurs, but of Han Chinese people. Let's not forget about very low wages and extreme overworking and corrupt deals between the Chinese government and American companies and corporations and lobbying. Let's not forget about all that stuff. There's so much stuff. And also a big thing. Let's not forget about the cover-ups. People speaking out against foreign officials and them covering up mass stabbings, them covering up natural disasters that have killed thousands of people. Let's not forget about the Chinese government hiding their massive homeless population, the massive death tolls from mass murder attacks, which are being caused by the greed and corruption and deception of the Chinese government. Let's not forget about these things, and let's try to look more into them, spread information about these things, because the Chinese government is by far the most corrupt, most deceitful, most in a way, somewhat violent, greedy government. It is by far the worst government in the entire world. In my opinion, it's worse than North Korea in some ways for certain reasons. A few of them I listed. Only a few. That was a tiny few things I listed that were problematic about the Chinese government. But the Chinese government should not be, what's the word I'm looking for? Underestimated. Everything that is said, everything that comes out of China is, it's all deception in my eyes, and the Chinese government is an especially evil one, and And as I was told by a friend of mine, his father, a friend's father, once told me, who used to work in the Pentagon way back in the day. He said that out of all of America's enemies, and this was a guy who had intel, he had information, he had knowledge on things, and the very deep government. He had, very deep government information and access, and he said that we should never trust the Chinese government. He said that the Chinese government is secretly the biggest threat to America, the biggest threat to Americans there will ever be. That's what he said. He said China is the number one biggest enemy, worse than Iran, worse than North Korea, than Russia. It's China. He said it was China that we had to watch out for, and I just wanted to repeat that. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other content.